Yes, indeed. Another episode of Rip N Riff is live on a Wednesday, 3 o'clock East Coast, noon Pacific time. He is Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard, and it is good to be back with you on an episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook network. Jared, another week in the books here. We got a couple of guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. Got a special episode coming up next week as well. Good times here.
Good times indeed. I actually just quote tweeted last week's show since you had it pinned on the Twitter account and not this week's show.
Yes, I was trying to fix that, as you know, there's a lot of that goes on here.
So I always like to write, something. I don't want to say tongue in cheek because I'm always trying to, this is how I am. So like I literally quote tweet like, "Watch this," or "I hope your power goes out." So now I got to think of something even more witty for the actual show.
I think you get it by the end of the show. There you'll get it from there.
Watch this too, or I hope someone slashes your tires.
I mean that's that's illegal though with the slashing of the tires. I mean maybe just keying the car a little bit. Tires are expensive nowadays.
You know what? No.
There you go. That's what you get with Jared Moore. He's not going to mess around. If he wants to come after you, he's coming after you.
I'm not saying I'm going to slash your tires. I'm just saying I hope somebody does.
Now, before this would be a good segue right into Rip and Rant with the angry vibes here. But I think before we do that, we should probably get into what we're going to be ripping today. Getting back to regular format here. So we're going to do a little mix of basketball and hockey because both of those sports playoffs are right around the corner here. And first up today, I'm going to do some 1990 Fleer. We'll throw that up on the screen. Looking for that Sean Kemp rookie that I tweeted out before the show, among others there. Tim Hardaway wouldn't be a bad one. And then you can see at the top of the screen, we got a pack of 2020-21 Panini Prizm, which also comes with a bonus pack there. It's a hanger pack. I already took it out of the cellophane, so it's that. With that, looking for some nice rookies there as well. Figure we haven't done some basketball in a while. We don't want to totally neglect it, so here we are.
No, we don't. I mean, the basketball playoffs are right around the corner, and it looks like it's probably going to be Celtics Nuggets in the finals, but I mean, you never know. You got the whole playoffs to go. All it takes is a major injury to a key player, and it opens up, the door for all these other teams to compete for a championship. Plus, it's it's fun to watch. It's fun to have on the background when the hockey's not on. So there's that too. Speaking of the hockey, I'm going to go. I did a box of these last year, and I really like these cards. These Metal Universe Skybox NHL cards from 2021-2022. Blaster exclusive to look for some prospect autograph cards. If you remember when we did this last year, I think I pulled Matthias Michelli from the Coyotes autograph card, which was pretty cool. Decent player. So not bad to pull an autograph like that. And you're seeing the rookies on the screen there. Byfield, McTavish, Trevor Zegras. Zegras is probably the guy you'd want to get out of that box just because he's probably the biggest name, even though he's been injured this year. He's really not had a very good season.
This has not been his ideal season. I don't think people should not give up on a guy like him. He's still very young. And there's still a lot of talent there. But that was one of the highlight hockey packs of season one when you pulled those Skybox medals out. That was a good time.
Yeah, they're very nice cards. So I'm excited for that. I'm actually going to save a couple packs for for next week or the following week whenever we're doing the hockey playoff preview show. But we'll do a few packs out of this box today. There's 5 total, so we'll do like.
And as Jared mentioned, next week, because National Hockey Card Day, at least according to Upper Deck, is Saturday, April 13th. Next Wednesday, we'll be doing all hockeys throughout, and we'll be about a little over a week and a half away from the playoffs, so maybe we'll have a better idea of some matchups by then, but we'll absolutely talk some puck there. But before we get to ripping packs, it's time to get to a little Rip and Rant. It's time to kick things off on Rip and Riff with
my Rip and Rant.
Thanks, Dave. I gotta kick us off today, and thank you, Dave, as always.
Love you, Dave.
And this is, it's on me. You got to be, prepared and be like ready to go. But I had a bid on and I'm not a big like game used jersey card guy, but certain players I would, I like those cards, and like Henrik Lundqvist being one of them. And I had a bid on it, had my max bid. I probably could have put my max bid higher, but I was like, let me go there. And I got sniped. Like I got the alert that I was outbid. And by the time that I open up the phone and get to the app, auction's over. And it wasn't that I got beat by like a large number. No. I got beat by 11 freaking cents. That's
you get sniped in the last second, and that's probably the most frustrating part of eBay, just generally speaking, is when you're dealing with these live auctions. If it's an actual auction, you have to physically be there to sort of gauge it. I always kind of determine that on how has the bid history been for this item leading up to it, and also I think you sometimes get the information of how many people are watching the item, which is a whole other thing, because if there's 50 people watching it, odds are somebody's going to remember to keep an eye on it and try to jump in last second and snipe it if the price is good.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I had the phone here. I remembered. I'm like, all right, it's ending. I'm doing work, and then there it is, the alert. And then by the time I get it, it's like, I know I should have put it higher, but at the end of the day, the way I make myself feel better is like, okay, well, that's money I could spend on something else now, even though I missed out on that one. And now I know to keep an eye out on it. And it was a 2011-12 Henrik Lundqvist numbered game U jersey. It was really nice. I should have had a picture ready for the screen, but yeah, I mean, it happens.
A nice pattern card. Yeah, it would have been a nice one to get in the collection. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be other Henrik Lundqvist game used jersey patch cards that you'll be able to pursue at one point or another. So it's, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. So
exactly. It's just, I got sniped on a hockey pack lot the day before. So like, I'm not on a good run right now. We need to like reverse the curse here.
Yeah. I haven't really dabbled too much into eBay recently. So I'm going to have to at some point when I start replenishing the packs that I have been going through right now. Everything that I've been doing the last few weeks on this show has just been stuff that I've been sitting on for a while, that just want to go through all of that before I really dive into anything new. But yeah, I mean, I think the first thing I'm probably going to look for once I dive back into those eBay streets is probably like we've been talking about. I want to do more NFL cards from like the mid to early 2000s, 2010s, like the height of I would say when fantasy football probably hit its peak.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair assessment
in terms of popularity, because I think it's just the best way to just remember some guys and celebrate some guys. And there's a lot of players that were playing then who, if they haven't gotten into the Hall of Fame yet, they're about to get in the Hall of Fame. So that's another way to sort of attack this.
Yeah, it's a good era of cards. It's not always an easy era to find cards, or you just find the base packs or the prices are too high. So you really gotta, know what you figure out the pack, the year and what you're looking for, and then just kind of, attack it that way. But yeah, I've got a nice stash of packs too that I've been trying to at least like get through most of, but it's also tough to not buy new ones. I say that with more coming in the mail as we speak. So there you go. But tough to get sniped.
Tough to get sniped. Well, we could always make up for getting sniped by seeing what you got today with the NBA cards.
Yeah, listen, I'm like I said, I'm a big Sean Kemp fan. I'm hoping that we can get nice little rip here. There's the West Coast rip cam. We'll go chronologically. We'll start 1990 and then work our way back here. And yeah, we can now put that. No, we like to get the sound, right? Yeah, we want the sound.
You always want the sound.
All right, now it's a good pack to start. A guy that you and I both know and watched a lot of playing growing up. We got Patrick Ewing there, right there to start the pack.
Yeah, Knicks legend, namesake of the famous Ewing theory, which is a Bill Simmons ism, I guess, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I mean, it's a bummer he never won anything. He's one of the many guys in the 90s who kept running into Jordan's Bulls and was never able to quite get past them.
And then he ran into Elijah Wan when he did get past them. So
yeah, exactly. So it is what it is. And yeah, and that was 94 when Jordan stepped away. So he didn't really get past him. It's just that Jordan stepped away.
Exactly. Yeah. He just didn't have that giant road cone in his way that is Michael Jordan in those early 90s Bulls. But I mean, you know what? Like, okay, they rigged the lottery. So what? And they still didn't pay off. They never got the championship. So who knows? But I went to an NCAA tournament game when his son was playing at Georgetown. And I had a credential, and I actually was like in the row right in front of Patrick, and he had to walk past me, like in the aisle. That is a tall man. That is a very, very tall man.
Yeah, he's a very large man.
And in that era too. I mean, you think about all the centers of that era: Robinson, Olajuwon, Ewing. I mean, they were just so many really good ones. Now we go to the bad boy Pistons, Mr. Joe Dumars.
Yeah, nice action shot of him there. I guess shooting a free throw or taking a jumper. The little follow through there. But yeah, those Pistons teams, they were they were sure was something.
Yeah, they got their back-to-back titles in the late 80s. They prevented Jordan from potentially starting his dominance earlier. But yeah, a fun team to watch, even though they were not well liked. Here we got Mike Jaminski, probably more known as being a college basketball analyst on TV for random games. Let's go throwback here to Mike Sanders on that old Pacers look, the pre-Reggie Miller look.
Ooh, I kind of like that. I don't think I've ever seen that Pacers jersey before, so I like that look.
That's like almost like an ABA look to them. Now, let's see.
This is a 1990 pack, correct?
This is a 90 pack, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we got. Speaking of the Pistons here, we got. Excuse me, the Pacers here. We got George McLeod. Another, look at that jersey right there.
Nice.
The round mound of rebound himself, Mr. Charles Barkley.
This is a very solid pack. What year was Barkley a rookie?
I'm
sure that's not a Barkley rookie, but
it's not a rookie.
I'll look it up while you're.
So his first year in the league was 84, 85. See, that's the nice thing about this era cards. It's like, oh, what was his rookie year? I can just pull the back and look it up, and it's not just like the previous season stats. They used to get everything on there. So there you go, Barkley. Shout out Eric Fenton if you're watching, because Kevin McHale. There we go.
There we go. Shout out to Fit Fenton.
Yeah, I mean that's a classic McHale look right there, doing his thing for those 80s Celtics. We've got a Robert Hansen traded to the Sacramento Kings card with the old Kings logo there. Let's see here.
That is a very interesting card. Yeah, I mean, I guess Photoshop wasn't really prevalent back in 1990, where now if a guy was traded in the offseason, is you just Photoshop him into the New Jersey, or you have the players come in, sometime in the offseason for their media photo shoots or whatever, and they just use those pictures. There's something about him being in the Utah Jazz jersey there with the short shorts and the Kings logo in the top left and the big circle traded to Sacramento, that I don't know, something about that card just cracks me up.
I'm more focused on the haircut here, because it's like it's not quite full mullet yet. It's like it's on its way to being a mullet, like it's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah, that's it's certainly not a haircut you could set your watch to, like Johnny Unitas. Nice little obscure Simpsons reference there.
I mean, Abe Simpson was right about that. I mean, Joe Namath's hair back then was super wild. Now, we got a former dunk champion here, Mr. Spud Webb, 5'7".
How about that?
Another Atlanta Hawk here. Can't say I know much about this guy, but Cliff Levingston, another Hawk there. Let's see here. From the old Washington Bullets, Liddell Eccles. Yeah, I kind of miss the Bullets. I understand they changed the name and all, but, that was a cool look.
Yeah, probably a good call for PR purposes to not call your team the Bullets.
Yeah, probably, especially in Washington at that era. Here we got Mike Brown pictured with the Utah Jazz. And then we're going to have a couple of Rockets here. We got Eric Sleepy Floyd, and then a guy we talked about earlier before he changed the spelling to with an H, Hakeem Olajuwon.
I did not know that he went with Akeem. So,
yes, he came
so there you go. And very nice.
This has been a good pack, and we close out the pack with another legendary Celtic, Dennis Johnson, favorite of both Celtics fans and players on that team in the 80s. DJ, hell of a player.
That is a solid pack. I mean, you got a lot of big name players there of that era, and some Hall of Famers, some very noteworthy role players. So I would be very satisfied with my purchase there.
I do have another pack of that. Maybe another time we rip it open, but no rookies in that pack, no all-stars, none of those cool inserts. So that was a little disappointing, but other than that, a really strong pack. Now we got let's go to 2020-21 with Panini Prizms here. We got a 12-card pack and then a bonus pack. Let's do the bonus pack first. Yeah. No pre-cutting today, so if it doesn't open, it's going to look bad. What are you going to do? All right. So
speaking of which, maybe I should make sure my cards are good to go, so I'm not wasting time on that. I'll do that while you're ripping here.
All right, so we've got 3 red, white, and blue parallels here to start. First will be pictured here with the Detroit Pistons, Mr. Blake Griffin. Good-looking card there.
Good-looking card. I love the red, white, and blue look there. Kind of a bummer that injuries kind of derailed Blake's career there. I mean, he was obviously. I don't want to say he was necessarily a great player, but I mean, he was an all-star player for several years with the Clippers, and just the knee injuries and everything just kind of turn him into a shell of himself.
At his peak, though, I mean, he was really strong. He was a hell of a player. I mean, you could make an argument he's an all-time Clipper great.
He's also really funny. If you ever watch some of those Comedy Central roasts that he's been a guest on, I mean, I'm sure that's Jeff Ross writing the jokes for him, but the way he delivers it is very funny.
Now, this is going back probably about 15 years at this point, but fun fact, when I used to produce Jerry Stackhouse's weekly radio show, he said I looked like a whiter Blake Griffin. So there you go. What it's worth. Definitely not now. Maybe back then when I was, a little skinnier and a little younger and had a little more stuff up here, but we got Damare Carroll with the Rockets is the second of the red, white, and blue parallels there for the Panini Prisms. And then we close with a very strong one here that's going to have to go into a sleeve is Zion Williamson.
How about that? Nice Zion red, white, and blue there.
Leave that up on the screen while I get the actual pack ready because that was the bonus pack. Gotta say, these packs have all opened easy today. I was a little nervous there, but
the hockey ones, I could already tell you did not. I had to bust out the box opener for those.
Oh, there you go. Good thing you keep it on hand. Now we got the. Let's start off here with Brooklyn Net Joe Harris, former Brooklyn Net.
Yeah, Joe Harris, pretty good shooter in his day. I'm not really sure what he's up to now, but pretty solid player. I believe University of Michigan.
I believe so. I don't remember. It does. Yeah, it's a thing. It doesn't say on these cards. It would have said it on the old school card. It does not say. But don't know if he was Michigan or not. But
I'll look it up while you're doing that.
Guy who's had a nice season for the Chicago Bulls amidst not much else positive for them. Kobe White, and I know that because I had him in fantasy.
Joe Harris, Virginia, by the way. So I couldn't have been more off on that. I don't know why I thought he went to Michigan.
He's got the look of a Michigan guy. I feel like.
He does look like a Michigan guy, but no, he is a Virginia Cavalier.
We got pictured here with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Danilo Gallinari. Shot there.
Yeah, pretty solid role player for many, many years in these leagues.
I gotta say, we got a pretty good pack here. I gotta say, let's go to now. He's not really a factor anymore, but Kemba Walker here, pictured with the Boston Celtics in that like gold and green jersey. That's pretty cool.
One of the all-time great maybe all-time great college player is a little strong, but I mean, Kemba Walker was a huge part of that UConn run that won a championship back in whatever year it was, 2009, 2007, whatever year it was that Kemba Walker just couldn't miss.
If you don't want to say all-time college basketball great, we could say all-time great point guard. I mean, he's up there. I mean, from college point guards. Got Goran Dragic right here, picture with the Heat. Got we went from the Bullets to the Wizards, but in this one it's kind of a throwback look. Shabazz Napier, pictured with the Wizards there in the throwback look. Got Tyler Bay here, rookie card, bad. Another rookie here, Udoka Azubuike. With the Jazz. Now we're getting to some good cards here. Now we're getting to the meat on the bone here. We're going to close strong here. So first, let's start with Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, Kawhi. I mean, he's sort of been the impetus of all the load management stuff in the NBA. Like, it's funny because they've been heavy load management with him, and they still can't keep him healthy. So I don't know what the science is. I don't know if just whether or not the players are baby too much, where maybe they should be playing more. But I mean, I know you were there when Dog went on the infamous like 82 rant with Jordan for how many games he played every year when he was killing all of today's players for never playing. And I feel like Kawhi is, fairly or unfairly, he's sort of the poster child of that.
I feel like there's got to be some sort of middle ground. Like, in hockey, it makes sense. You got a back-to-back. Okay, you're going to play one goalie one night, one goalie the other night. Like, in instances like that, like,
but
sure.
Hockey, it's also not really a thing with the skaters. For the most part, like, the skaters, like, if they're healthy, they're going to play all 82. I think it's just, and hockey's a more physical sport than basketball. I'm not saying basketball is not physical. I'm just saying that, hockey with, the play on the boards and the checking and that sort of stuff. So I think it's just, I don't know if it's a player mentality thing where the hockey players are just wired differently because, a lot of these hockey players, it's not, they don't come up in the same upbringing as like the basketball players when they come up. The hockey players, a lot of them are, long bus rides. They're playing at like 4 a.m. in the middle of nowhere in Canada. And that's not quite what's going on with basketball players when they're in their formative years.
No, it's don't get me wrong. They have AAU camps and stuff like that are like grueling and stuff. And
right, and there's definitely travel camps and stuff like that. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying. It's like basketball players coming up. It's a little more cush because you're getting a little more publicity. You're getting hyped earlier. Like, very rarely are hockey players, unless they're like a Macklin Celebrini or somebody like that, like getting hyped up as early as like 14 years old. Where nowadays, like, if you're not looking at high school freshmen to see who's going to be the next big college and pro, you're behind,
And that's the other thing too, especially like, I think part of the reason why college football and basketball are as popular as they are is because the players, when they're done playing at those levels, are ready to jump right into the NFL and the NBA respectively. For the most part, with NHL players, when these guys get drafted, you're not seeing or hearing from any of them for 3 years.
Generally, like if you're a top 3 pick, okay, then maybe there's an expectation that depending upon your position, but even then, like usually it's first overall, and like if you take a defenseman or like in the top 5, there's usually not an expectation for them to start right away. So yeah, that does hurt them because it's like, okay, we picked you, but if you do everything the right way, we'll see you in 2-3 years.
Exactly. So,
all right. Now we got a couple more here. We got Josh Hart, Pelicans there. That's a good one. And then we've got
a pretty good player on the Knicks.
Yes, he is. Knicks basketball matters again in New York. I don't even live in New York anymore, and I know that it's been maybe not so much a little bit lately, but throughout the course of the season, there's been more hype for the Knicks than I've heard about in a long time.
They've kind of hit the skids a little bit lately, only because they're dealing with injuries to Randall and OG Anunoby and some of their other guys. So, they're going to be in the playoffs. They might win a round. I don't really consider them a serious contender, but it's fun when there's a buzz in the air, I guess. I don't really care about the Knicks or New York basketball as a whole. So it just kind of is what it is for me. But, other people are into it, so good for them.
And if Jim Dolan happens to be watching, ignore the Hawk. I don't want you paying. Focus on the Knicks. Don't worry about what the Rangers are doing. Just focus on the Knicks, because when you start to get involved, that's when things. So just watch the team from afar, please. The Rangers have a legitimate chance. I'd like there to be a deep spring in Madison Square Garden for them, please, please, please. So let's see here. We've got an instant impact rookie card. Josh Green right there. That's a cool looking card right there. That's a nice
very cool looking card. Don't know much about Josh Green as a player, but very cool card.
Let's see. He was an Arizona product, blah, 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 blah. So there you go. And then to close the pack, we got the green parallel, appropriate team to have the green parallel for Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics. So there we go.
Yeah, very appropriate, and always nice to get a superstar player in these packs, especially with the parallels. So very nice pull there.
I'm happy with I'm happy with all the packs I had today. I'm not a huge basketball guy, but I came away with a lot of stuff I was happy with, and some good stuff there.
Very nice. We'll have to talk off air about me setting up the Rip N Riff East Coast cam, because I sort of feel bad that I'm just going to be old school style, just holding up to the camera, but kind of is what it is there. But I'm ready to talk a little puck.
We'll get you there. Yeah, let's talk some puck, man. That's my favorite. So.
Very nice, as your face is frozen on my end, but I can still hear you just fine. So Yeah, I already like the look of these cards. Ooh, there's something interesting here that just kind of fell out. So let me jump ahead to that one. This is a Kirill Kaprizov, I guess big man on ice cutout card, which is a very interesting one.
So there was like, yeah, I'm I want to go back to the pack ripping lineup there. Yeah. So I think that's not the ice carvings. I want to say that's like like they had like a die cut series or whatever it was. But yeah, that's a good looking card right there.
Yeah, I mean the lettering is sort of off just because I couldn't quite make out what it was supposed to be. So it just says like big ice or whatever, and I think you always want to be careful with lettering like that when you put the player in front of it because you can't always quite read what it says. But very nice card there.
Hey,
And we
by the way,
jump
that
ahead.
card is keep that one in good shape. Is that a numbered one?
Let me take a look at the back of it real quick. This, aside from it being part of that particular line, which I guess is the big man line, no, it's not numbered.
Okay, it's still a good. That's still a good pull though.
Yep. So we got Ryan Nugent Hopkins from your Edmonton Oilers.
Very nice.
Very nice. Parallel here. Just with the color. Nick Suzuki, captain of your Montreal Canadiens.
Shout out Christopher Murray, who is a very happy Canadians fan, at least with the way things are down the stretch.
Yeah, it's pretty good development for them that Yaroslav Glavsky, totally just butchered the last name, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. The number one pick a couple years ago is actually playing pretty well for him. So, and here's a regular Nick Suzuki insert card from the same pack.
I do love that flipped Canadian jersey. I know there's some traditional Habs fans that are probably like, that's blasphemous, but that is a nice change of pace.
I do like it. Yeah, it's a look they probably should wear more often, but they're not going to. Let's see, a rookie card here, Anton Lundell from the Florida Panthers.
Had a nice role for them. Good player for them.
Yeah, he's gonna be a good player for a long time for him. And finish off this pack with a couple players from a team that is sort of rounding into form right now, heading into the playoffs. From your Vegas Golden Knights, Wild Bill Carlson and the captain Mark Stone.
Listen, and I know Vancouver doesn't have Thatcher Demko in that, but Vegas really put on a showing last night when they smacked the Canucks around pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, Vegas is going to be that. You could tell going in the tournament, Vegas is going to be that nobody wants to face them sort of team. I think last year Florida was that team, which was funny because when they went up against Boston in the first round, it's like, well, wait a minute, like we just set a record for most points in the season, and as it turned out, the Boston Bruins went down 7 games.
I want Vegas Edmonton in the first round. Give me, and I said that on Total Hockey Now. Like that would be, to me, that's the matchup of the first round if that happens.
That would be a fun matchup. Let's see. Erik Karlsson, here pictured with the San Jose Sharks.
Love those Sharks jerseys. I mean, and I'll always say this about the Karlsson acquisition. Getting him at that trade deadline for the playoff push made sense. Extending him is where they went wrong, and that's kind of was like the first step in having to acknowledge it. Like, all right, they're gonna have to blow this whole thing up because that contract ruined them.
Yep. From the Anaheim Ducks, John Gibson, who's having a another very John Gibson-esque year, which is not very good.
Very long way from the Johnny Guitar back in when he was helping the Ducks make deep playoff runs.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It just kind of is who he is at this point. I believe this is a rookie card, but it doesn't say rookie card on here. And it's the insert for this particular pack. William Eklund from your San Jose Sharks.
William Eklund has been one of the few bright spots for the San Jose Sharks this year, and getting to watch him develop, and it'll be fun to see what he does next year after he's had another year of seasoning. He's somebody to get excited about in the South Bay.
Yep. Pierre-Luc Dubois, a nice little blue parallel there with the Winnipeg Jets there. Now, obviously, with the LA Kings. Funny how he sort of has a way of wearing out his welcome everywhere he goes.
I mean, he's had like a couple of random weeks where you're like, oh, okay, they're gonna get Pierre-Luc Dubois finally, and then that's it. It's just like a random week here and there. That has not been a good acquisition for them. And if you think about what they gave up, I mean, maybe the Kings are a much better team. Who knows? But it has not worked out well for them in LA this year.
All right, I got a rookie card here that's interesting that I want to get to in a second. I'm going to save it and go through the other two in this pack. Jordan Eberle, newly extended with the Seattle Kraken, so congrats to him on securing the bag.
There you go. Top 6 right wing.
Player who's got a really good shot at being the MVP this year in Austin Matthews, who's already topped the 60-goal mark on the season, and still is about 7 games left to go, and 2 of those games are against a defensively inept team in the Devils. So
let me ask you a question, because Nate McKinnon has pretty much been the front runner for the Hart. If Matthews gets to 70, do you have to give him the Hart just because he scored 70 goals? And listen, I know he's got a good cast around him, but still, I mean, if he scores 70, that has not been done since Teemu Solani's rookie year when he had 76, and somebody else had 70 that year too. I forget who though.
What are the betting odds for MVP? Let's take a look at that for a quick second before we get into this. NHL MVP betting odds.
Hart Trophy odds 2024.
All right, so it looks like McKinnon's the favorite right now, minus 250. Kucherov, I don't know when this was last updated.
No, the one I'm looking at is he was updated, a few weeks ago. And Kucherov has been carrying the Lightning, and then that's McDavid was 3, and then Matthews was 4, and that's kind of how it's been in terms of top to bottom. Who's been the favorite, and the rankings behind them.
Right. It's a really interesting point. I always have a working theory when it comes to this sort of MVP voting. Look at the voter block. And I say that because the Canadian media makes up a large contingent of the voting block, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are always front and center and top of mind when we're talking about the Canadian media, because if you turn on TSN or SN, it's basically Leaf Central. So
and then the Oilers after that. Those are your two right there.
Right, and then it's whatever is going on in the States if they have time.
Exactly.
So if Matthews gets to 70, I could see a lot of people saying, "Wait a minute, are we sure that Austin Matthews isn't the MVP?" The team is going to the playoffs. He's the best player on the team. He's having that sort of caliber season before. He's an all-time great. He's already won the MVP. So. And I think a lot of the Canadian media will vote with their fandom, and they're Leafs fans. They're going to vote for Austin Matthews. That's sort of how I look at it. But then again, Nathan McKinnon probably should have had an MVP by now. So
that's the thing. It's not like if you don't give it to McDavid, fine, whatever. He's got more. He's going to get more. Kucherov, same thing. He's had. Who knows? Matthews. I mean, to have somebody new like McKinnon would be nice, but I mean, how do you ignore 70 goals? I mean. And Alexander McKinnon was the other guy to do it in 93.
Right. McKinnon probably, it pains me to say this, Devils fan, McKinnon probably should have won the Taylor Hall year, because that was probably his best shot at doing it. But I also can't argue that Taylor Hall wasn't the MVP that year. Just when you look at the state of that Devils roster and the fact that he single-handedly
he threw that team back. That was his best season, hands down.
Yeah. Now, as it turns out, that best season was an outlier, and that's going to be one where, when they look back on it historically, they'll be like, wait, why did we give Taylor Hall the MVP this year? But it's tough to argue in the moment that he didn't deserve it. So that's not here nor there. Speaking of Devils, the interesting rookie card I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
Alexander Holtz.
The guy that was untradeable, I believe, if I was following the Devils correctly, or was he the guy that they were willing to move and nobody was going to take him in a deal? How'd that go?
Well, that's an interesting point, because I feel like he is your classic European winger, young player, makes mistakes, and then the 200 hockey man coach, he gets in the doghouse because he misses a back check once, and the coach just buries him in the lineup, and then he's not producing, because how can you expect him to produce with the Curtis McDermott's and Chris Tierney's of the world when those are his line mates? So
but they're not skillful, we'll say. Yeah.
Right. And I don't think it's outlandish to say that Holtz was playing his best stretch of hockey when he was playing with Jack Hughes and Eric Hall on the line. It's like, yeah, when you're playing with legitimate NHL talent, you're going to be able to, actually look presentable as a player. I think I think the team in general is down on him. I think they're probably going to trade him, and I feel like it's probably going to be a mistake.
If they trade him, what is the expected return for a guy like him? Like, what are they looking like?
I think they're trying to use him in whatever goalie trade they make.
As the centerpiece of like the player that you can use now kind of thing that has a ton of upside. That's the centerpiece player
who's on an ELC, who's still cheap, who has theoretical upside. And like, theoretically speaking, like the Devils' first round pick, like let's say it's like the 12th overall pick or whatever. 12th overall pick, and Alex Holtz should be able to get you a Linus Ullmark, a UC Saros, any one of those guys. In theory, it should be able to get you those guys.
But you're worried it's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, probably, because I feel like they haven't really done a very good job developing the player. Now, maybe it just turns out he stinks, but you drafted the player, so I feel like you should probably exhaust every option when it comes to trying to develop the player. So that's sort of
putting him with players that are facilitators versus guys that are more shut down. Chris Tierney's, like you said, like Curtis McDermott, who are there to just kind of do the defensive end of the forward work. Putting a guy like Holtz with them is doing him no favors.
Right. So, and like he's not the only guy like that. Like we've seen countless times throughout hockey history. Just the coaches bury those type of guys because they just don't trust them because they don't do enough in the 200-foot game. So yeah, kind of is what it is. All right. So we start at this final pack here. Pierre-Luc Dubois again. Nice of him to show up twice in this pack.
It's more than he showed up for the Kings this year.
A couple players who were recently traded at the trade deadline. Jake Gensel, now with the Carolina Hurricanes.
I'm very much looking forward. I mean, you don't want to assume anything, but it looks like we're on a collision course for Rangers Hurricanes in the second round of the playoffs this year if things go the way they're supposed to, and that is going to be if that doesn't go 7, I'd be very surprised.
Yep, 100% agree with you. Noah Hannafin, now with the Vegas Golden Knights. Really like that Flames jersey, by the way.
Yeah, black with that's cool.
Yeah, so I like that. Rookie card here. I feel like he's had a pretty solid year for the Capitals. Hendrix Lapierre.
Yeah, I mean, in a year where there hasn't been, they're kind of like in the middle of a retool, we'll call it. He's been one of the few bright spots. Yep.
Andrei Vasilevsky with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Love the blue Lightning jerseys, that old look there with like the expansion era look.
Yep. Ryan Getzlaf with the now retired, but with the Anaheim Ducks.
Best Duck in franchise history, but Teemu Selanne career, then him was probably your top 3.
And another now retired player with Duncan Keith here with his lone season in Edmonton.
Would that fall under the last card category that we've talked about on prior?
This would be Duncan Keith last card. So we'll put this in a penny sleeve, and I'm sure there's going to be a Duncan Keith super fan out there who would really be into it.
If there was a hockey equivalent of the Sal Fasano All-Stars, and if you're an Oiler fan, that would have to go in. That would be like a centerpiece item right there.
That would be a centerpiece, 100%. I don't know enough Oilers history to think of random one-offs like that, but I'm sure we could come up with somebody. So
we'll have to look at that.
But yeah, some nice hockey cards there. We didn't pull the auto. Maybe it's going to be in one of the other 2 packs that I put aside. So we'll have to look forward to that on a future edition.
And that we'll be pulling those next week on our all hockey episode. So did you get that in?
I made the toss in the trash. Yes.
I mean, because your name obstructs the garbage can, but that was nice. Good job.
Yeah. Nice little just flip over the shoulder and actually went in. It's something I could try it 10 more times. I'll make it once.
Yeah, but I mean, we got it on tape, so that's all that matters, right? That's the look, right?
Yep, 100%. And like, I'd show you the actual trash can, but I don't want to show you like all the stuff I have in the trash. So
no, that's. But so we've gotten to the end of the show here, but before we go, we always do the starting lineup figure 5, which is, of course, Jared's got 5 questions to figure out the starting lineup. I'm hoping to unbox today, because if he doesn't guess it right, it goes back on the shelf, does not get unboxed. So today has got a little bit of a twist to it. I've mentioned the classic doubles before, which is when they have like either a college version and a pro version, or two teammates at the same time, or peers. So today's edition is baseball, and it's two peers. So two guys that played in the same era at the same time. With that, we may go.
All right, so two guys who played in the same era at the same time. I'm assuming, since you went in this direction, did they play the same position?
They indeed played the same position. Good first question, because now that gives you. And how about this? Because it's two guys, we'll make it the starting six. You get an extra question. Because if you get one of them, I open the box.
Nice. I like that. Did these players primarily play in the American League?
One did. One primarily played in the National League. Although the one that primarily played in the American League got his start in the National League.
All right, so the one who played in the American League started in the National League, and then the other one's primarily a National League player. Are these players pitchers?
They are both pitchers.
Okay.
So you got 3 to go. Giving you an extra one today.
Are these players Cy Young Award winners?
Let me double check that. Yes, I would believe they both are, but let me just confirm that. Let's see. One is a 3-time winner, and one
very, very specific.
And one is a 1-time. Shockingly, but not shockingly when you figure out who it is. If you figure out who it is.
If I figure out who it is one of them Pedro Martinez?
Yes, indeed. One of them is. So you got it with one question short. So now you still have one to spare to figure out the other one. Are you going to be able to do both?
Well, all right. So I figured Pedro was going to be the National League guy who was primarily known in the American League. That's sort of where I was going with that. And I believe he's a 3-time Cy Young winner. So now I got to try to narrow down the 1-timer. Contemporaries. Problem is now you're trying to link players to them who really don't have much to do with them other than that. And I'm trying to think of random one-off Cy Young winners. I think I have a player in mind, and I think this player only won one, but this would be a very weird 2-pack.
So
is it Tom Glavine?
Definition of right church, wrong pew. John Smoltz. He got Pedro, so we're opening the box today. But that's why it's like surprising that Smoltz only won one. But then you think about the pitching rotation he was a part of, and it's like, all right, he got one out of all those years. But
right, and like I knew Maddox obviously won his, and I knew Glavine won one. I'm pretty sure Glavine won one. So that's sort of the reason. But it just seems weird that like that would be the 2-pack of John Smoltz and Pedro Martinez.
So Pedro there pictured, let's see here. He's got like the Red Sox hat on with like the alternate look. And then Smoltz there getting ready. He's going to throw the pitch there on the road Atlanta. Let's crack this bad boy open. Good job, though. I mean, you keep your streak. You've only missed once this year. So good for you.
I mean, I count the Smoltz as a miss. I'm batting 500 today.
So you're 1.5 misses on the year, we'll call it?
1.5.
Let's bring back the Rip Cam here so we can look at the state. We can look at the cards here quickly. We got Pedro Martinez right there. This is a thick card. They definitely use more than the usual card stock for these. And then we got John Smoltz there also getting ready. That kind of a little bit matches the pose there to a degree. And then let's see here. All right, so there's Pedro post throw right there. It's pretty cool. And you got Martinez, no Martinez on the back because the Red Sox don't do names on the home jerseys. Then if you can throw stuff, I can throw stuff. We got John Smoltz there. Pictured getting ready to throw, wind up and throw. Got a nice little mustache, goatee going, nice detail there. Let's put this back on the stage. You can see a little bit right there. Let's get the cards out of there. Got Smoltzy right there. Nice little detail on the face. It was obviously a much later model, so they got better with the details. And then, there's Pedro getting ready to throw. There's a full-on view of him. Also,
let's see the detail on the back of the Smoltz one, on the back of the jersey with the name.
There you go. I mean, that's as close. That's pretty.
That's pretty close. That's better job than they're doing with the current day MLB jerseys, which is a whole other thing.
I almost thought about using the Yankee jerseys where they sweat through. They look like, God, they're just terrible. They look paper thin. Like there's no quality.
That reminds me, the Yankees are about to start. So we should wrap this show up so I can watch a little baseball.
That's right. A little afternoon baseball from the desert in Arizona. But before we get out of here, I always like to make a quick few mentions here. Jared's got some, we like to say mediocre poker content at Jared Moore Poker on YouTube. So he won't say it's good, but it is. In his eyes, it's only mediocre.
The production is top notch. My actual play is very average.
But I mean, the production values, I mean, you can't beat them. And then also all about the jersey.com for Devils Talk, like we were talking about earlier with Alexander Holtz. You could get more coverage there. And of course,
we can find out which 200 hockey man NHL coach retread will get the Devils job, because that's what I wrote about this week. So basically trying to talk myself into Todd McClellan.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a few candidates there. I won't steal the thunder. Go to the allaboutthejersey.com and read the article about the top candidates for the Devils vacancy coming up. And then, of course, Total Hockey Now.
Not a good list. Total Hockey Now is a good list. It's a good list of a rundown and a good list of a cast of characters to break down the sport.
With myself at Ant Rivera 86, Anthony Rivera, and Fuzzy Chris 91, Christopher Murray. Now, I'm not cheating on you, but also to honor the National Hockey Card Day, I will be ripping a pack of hockey cards on Total Hockey Now next week. It'll be different from the one I do here. Not cheating.
Go ahead. I'm not your dad. Go ahead.
Oh, there we go. So we'll be doing that next week. But and of course, don't forget, Rip and Riff on all the platforms. Rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps us a bunch. And it's been a good day. And I'm sorry if you hear my dog in the background there as he barks at the Postal Service man just doing his job and delivering hopefully some cards for me or our starting lineup. We'll see. But for this episode of Rip and Riff, it's been fun. Some basketball, some hockey. We're going to do more hockey next week. But for Mr. Jared Moore, I am at Pucking Thoughts. Be back with you next Wednesday, April 10th, with a new episode of R&R.
Sorry, Joe Harris. I thought I got the score right.